Welcome to the Street Smarts podcast. I am Dan Kline, and we are being joined today by Anthony Bonitatibus, Senior Director Marketing, Coca-Cola Freestyle at the Coca-Cola Company. Wow, that is a dream job. Anthony, welcome to the Street Smarts.
Thank you. Really happy to be here.
So tell me, before we get into this, before we get into like all the cool things that the freestyle can do, how do you get this job? How do you become someone, you know, I think every kid loves the freestyle. How do you become the person in charge of it?
It's fun, right? I totally agree. And maybe there's a little luck involved there too. But so my background is primarily in food service, and in beverages specifically. So I spent a good amount of time at Dunkin' Brands before they were acquired by Inspire, before joining Coca-Cola. So my background is actually in coffee and in tea and some of those categories. So beverages have been really front and center my whole career. And when I started at Coca-Cola, I was lucky. I was a customer marketer, which meant that I got to support a host of different customers in the food service space across a lot of different channels. So think restaurants are the bread and butter, but you have movie theaters, theme parks, casinos, all of those things. And my customer portfolio, a lot of them had freestyle and they had it in these different channels. And I got to see how they work with that platform and how consumers interact with it in those different channels. And I was always really amazed by it as a marketer and excited by it. So, like I said, with some luck involved, there was an opportunity to join this team. And when I applied, I was really crossing my fingers. I got the role and I'm here today, but I was ready to pounce on it when the opportunity came for sure.
From Dunkin' Donuts to Coca-Cola, that is a Boston boy's dream as someone from Swampscott, Massachusetts. But let's talk about the freestyle because my first experience with it was amusement parks. I don't
Mhm.
remember if it was Universal, if it was Disney, but I believe both of those companies have the product.
Yep.
Is that was that the first goal to give it to make it feel really special by having it be a vacation item for people?
Uh, I think we want it to work across any channel, right? So, but I will say those types of venues where you can have an experience and it is meant to be experiential, they do work really well with freestyle. Movie theaters is a great addition to that list. When you walk into those places, you're kind of going into an immersive experience, being able to get in front of a dispenser. And oftentimes, and one of the great benefits of freestyle is those types of locations, they oftentimes have a unique drink that are only available in that park or in that movie theater chain, and it might be tied to a specific movie that you might be seeing that day. So it really kind of adds to the experience of being there, doing something fun, maybe with your family. And so it is a great fit, but obviously you see freestyle in restaurants across the nation too. So we really want it to be able to work no matter where you are.
So I'm curious as to how people actually use freestyle. So I have a now 21-year-old, and her first real exposure to freestyle was on a cruise ship. And you
Okay.
get that plastic cup. First of all you can drink soda to a 15-year-old is pretty much I don't know, all you could drink fancy scotch at my age. I don't really know what the equivalent would be, but it's a nice treat at that age. You don't have a lot of control of your life when you're a teenager in terms of what you eat, what you drink. So to be able to get that choice, and I remember at first he was just getting cream soda. He liked cream soda, and then you start to see the little mix-ins. You start to see
Hmm.
him try something he never had before, not like it, throw it away, go get something else, or even, dear God, not get soda, get a Powerade or something a little bit more. I don't want to say health conscious because 15-year-olds aren't notably health conscious, but maybe a little less sugary and bad for you. Well, not bad for you, but less good for you. Um, anyway, what types of usage behaviors do you see, and does it differ by age group?
So there's a variety of usage behaviors, and there's no right one, obviously, to each their own. There are certainly the people who will go in and they may try to pour a few different mixes into a single drink. The vast majority, and this is part of the reason why we develop freestyle, why it works so well, is we've curated hundreds of recipes for them. You should be able to go in front of a freestyle and find something you want without having to kind of come up with your own creation, right? So when someone's standing in front of the freestyle, the majority of the time they're picking something on that dispenser that's beyond kind of those top 10 options. So we pour a lot of Coke Classic, a lot of Sprite for sure, but the majority of people are actually going into the deeper cuts. So they want the Coke, but they maybe want the peach flavored Coke. They want the Coke Tropical, the Coke Cream Soda, to your earlier point about cream soda. Um, and that's kind of the joy of freestyle, is that rather than you having to come up with it on your own, we've worked with our R&D team and we've kind of looked at what consumers are looking for in the marketplace. And we say, let's curate the recipes we think people want, make it available to them. It's going to be consistent every single time. And you can do the exploration, you can do the discovery on the dispenser. And to be fair, it's meant to be very simple. So we're not going into a lot of different levels of discovery. It's really usually within one or two touches, you're able to get to your drink that you're looking for, but you can have fun with it. And we do intentionally have a balance. So there are a lot of carbonated soft drink brands on there, but we really were intentional about making sure that we had those non-carbs as well. So to your point, there is Powerade. We have a really strong lemonade portfolio actually from Minute Maid on the dispenser. And that's the goal, is to make sure that you have that balance of drinks that you think maybe an older adult might want, which is maybe more in the soft drink, the carbonated area, but also families, younger folks, they might be going for something that might be non-carb. And then we also have a lot of zero sugar options too, to try to meet the different needs of the consumers who are going up to the dispenser.
Do you see people creating your own like half sugar soda where they do a Coke Zero mixed with a regular Coke, or do you see that type of mixing?
There is, and I'll give you. We actually started this year with a program, and it was called, I believe we called it the Internet's Favorite Mix. And the idea is people post about these things, and so our social media team went out and they found some common recipes that were posted online about, hey, if you take 50% of this and you do half of this, you get this. We found a few, we taste tested them with R&D. We found a few that we really liked, and we put them on dispenser for everyone. So that was actually our program at the beginning of the year.
So it's a bit of a secret menu, but making it available.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me ask the big question. We talked about this a little bit before we went on. What is your favorite flavor?
So I usually provide two. So for me, I love Coca-Cola cream soda. I'm a big cream soda nut, but like the idea of, and I love Coca-Cola. So when you combine the two, for me, that was kind of like magic for me. The other one is a little more, I would say, unexpected, and we have a peach lemonade, so Minute Maid peach lemonade, and I sing its praises to anyone who will listen. And I've never met anyone who hasn't tried it and came back and said that was absolutely amazing. So it's just one of those unexpected delights that you can find on a dispenser like Freestyle. And it's there every day, everywhere you go, you'll see it. And it's a really good flavor.
So we'll get back into the hard hitting part of this, but for me, it's two things. Fanta soda tastes better in a fountain. You could not convince me that a can, a bottle, it is simply, it's a little less sweet. And I'm at an age where maybe I don't want 64 ounces or 32 or however big the cup is of Fanta orange, but to have a little bit of Fanta orange and then come back for the vanilla root beer. That is
Mm,
by far, I don't even know if that's on everyone. That's a pretty out there flavor. But root beer is not caffeinated. So you get sort of you could also do the diet or the zero version. So you get that sort of like guilty pleasure without necessarily, at my age, calories matter quite a bit. So,
hmm
you get to sort of have those flavors. And to me, that's really like why I like when I'm on a cruise ship, I will get the cup because once in a week, I'll go and get a soda, even though I'm sitting in bars. I mean, there's bars everywhere. You can get a
hmm
Coke, you can get any product you want, but it is fun to do that. But let's get back to the machine a little bit. Are you using the freestyle to test new flavors to possibly bring them to market?
So we're always putting new flavors on the dispenser. That's part of kind of our commitment to our customers too. So we're bringing in limited time offers throughout the year. We're also refining our everyday offerings as well. In the past, we actually have, so we've done some flavors on Freestyle that have informed innovation. So it's been, pretty widely published, but Coke Orange Vanilla is an example. Cherry Sprite is another one where they were using some of the data from Freestyle to help inform some of those decisions, and we'll continue to use it like that. I mean, the great news is we capture all the data, all the pouring information, and so we always want to make sure with our brand partners that they're able to see that and it can help inform their decisions in the future. One really interesting development that I wanted to chat with you about actually is we are in, like, as we speak, we are currently rolling out Sprite Chill on a significant portion of our fleet. And so you'll start seeing that pop up on Freestyle. Now, Sprite Chill was a really big launch for the Sprite brand about a year ago. And we are actually going to be launching it on Freestyle with new flavors that you can't get anywhere else. And so in that example, we're looking at what a brand did in retail. We're bringing it to freestyle, but we're expanding it. And there's kind of like a loop here, right? Because we're able to get the learnings from those new flavors, and that might help inform the Sprite team on what they want to do in the future. So it's a great process of partnering with our brands and making sure that whatever we're putting on the dispenser, we're capturing that data, we're circulating it, and we're sharing it and learning from it.
Is part of the business plan to go like social media viral? Because I don't exactly see Coca-Cola advertising new flavors. Put you might walk into a theme park and see an ad for an exclusive flavor or something like that, but there's not TV commercials. I haven't seen a lot of push. So is the idea that I walk up to a machine, go, "Oh my God, there's a Coca-Cola salmon," and I don't know, I'm in Norway, and that seems like a great idea. And you taste it, you're like, "Ooh, wouldn't expect that to be good, but it is." And I go on social media and it spreads. Is that minus the flavor sort of the idea behind some of this?
I mean, we would be more than happy if that happens. Anything that goes on social media and spreads, that's great. And there is a decent amount of word of mouth on the innovations that we do. Um, I think our goal is what we do want consumers to know is where they can find freestyle. That's really important to us. So our partners, the customers we have, so the Wendy's of the world, we want to make sure that consumers know when you go to those outlets, you can have that freestyle experience. And for a lot of folks, it is when you walk up to the freestyle dispenser, that might be your first exposure into some of the things we're doing. But we are on social media and we are talking about the new things that we do. And we do hope that people are listening and they're seeing it and they're talking about it. But there is a surprise and delight element to it as well. So when you're getting in front of the dispenser and you're just looking for something new, and there's a lot of people, it's about discovery, right? It's like, I don't really know what I'm feeling right now. So I'm going to see what's there. You can be surprised by something and try it and have a good time with that.
Do you find that most people figure out how to operate the machine without any help?
Yeah, and it was intentionally meant to be intuitive. So our user experience, we've refined it over the years. So you seem to be a bit of a historian with freestyle, so you probably recognize some of the changes that we've made, and we'll continue to work on that and continue to modify it over time. But the goal is to make it easy to find a drink because there is that subset of people who they know what they want. They walk in, like I said, they want a Coke, they want a Sprite, and that's all. One or two touches away, you get your drink, you pour it, but it's also meant to have that balance of if you want to find something new, that's easy to do too. But really, we're very intentional in how we design that experience.
I am trying to get the Coke Freestyle chair at Emory University, but so far have struck out. Uh, Coming up on the end here, and one of the things you have as a brand is an incredibly passionate fan base. So we write a lot of stories about when a soda goes away. Sometimes it's a regional soda, sometimes it was never meant to be permanent, or sometimes it's just a really tough loss like you had a few years ago. And it's not just you, it's every soda brand. I mean, when I think Kroger got rid of their house soda brand, it was a big story. And I don't remember anyone loving Kroger soda. I may be picking the wrong grocery chain there, but you understand what I'm saying. But I would say that every Coca-Cola brand ever has a small group of people who that was their favorite flavor. No matter how odd or terrible the flavor, like the ones you have at Epcot, some of those flavor people love them. Have you thought about using freestyle to reintroduce some discontinued regional favorites, or I dare say this name out loud, a crowd of people will form behind me, or to bring back Tab?
So, first of all, we love the passion that our fans have behind the drinks we've done. That's part of what makes Coca-Cola special and our brand's really strong. Um, I'll give you an anecdote of something that's happening right now that kind of taps into this because we do love playing into the nostalgia. And one thing again with freestyle, freestyle was kind of born from nostalgia. If you think about the soda shop from the early 20th century, that's really like the predecessor of freestyle. You had someone mixing in syrups into Coca-Cola to give you all these different flavors. People love that. So they love that idea of tapping into an experience where it's something that is a harkening back to a long time ago. Now, I know that's not directly answering your question.
No, it's
The example that I wanted to give is so Diet Cherry Coke did a limited time launch in one of our biggest retail partners. And if you've seen the packaging for it, it's this retro 1980s look from the Diet Cherry Coke brand of that time. It's actually always been on freestyle, not something that everyone necessarily makes the connection of. Um, but what we did this month is we tapped into that viral kind of retro look and we put it on dispenser with that look and feel because we wanted to tap into the nostalgia and we do love the idea of even though we're not bringing it back, we're kind of our way of playing it is it's always been on freestyle. So we absolutely see the value in tapping into the nostalgia. There are no plans right now of bringing Tab back. I hate to, I hate to
It's the
break your
it's
heart
the
on that.
no. It's here's the thing. I'm not particularly a fan, but it's the question I get asked most every time I write an article about, and it's the most passionate fan base for a soda that, in my opinion, has been improved. Coke Zero is a delightful product compared to what Tab tasted like. And I'm sorry if that insults people, but like it does seem like one, look, my grandfather loved Moxie. Nobody is going out and drinking Moxie anymore. Not a Coke product. But,
Oh, I
you
know
know,
Moxie well. I'm from Massachusetts as well, so I grew up in the Northeast, and I know the Moxie brand, and that's a unique flavor as well. What I will tell you is we're always evaluating what consumers want. We're always listening, and so we do want to make sure that what we put on dispenser is going to be based on what those consumer preferences are looking forward, but it does tap into kind of that history and that nostalgia that we have as a brand.
is there anything else our audience should know about Coca-Cola Freestyle? Um, Anything else coming down the pipeline? Any major product innovations? Am I getting a home version? I know I'm not, but are there anything else we need to know?
Well, I mentioned Sprite Chill will be launching, and so they should start seeing that pop up in some locations now. And I do encourage, every few months or so, we're putting new programs on dispenser, oftentimes with new recipes, and definitely encourage everyone when they're in an outlet with Freestyle, go check that out, see what that new news is. Um, but it's certainly we appreciate the fandom, we appreciate that people are so happy about seeing variety beyond just the basics and tapping into that, that choice and variety that we think people really are looking for in food service.
So you mentioned the old school ice cream, soda counter. I will throw out one tip. If you're on a cruise ship, there is often a Coca-Cola Freestyle in the buffet. The buffet is often steps away from where the free soft serve is. Instant ice cream float, ice cream soda, however you want to do it. It is not something they will make for you. It is something you'll have to go get the two items and combine. But generally, you have the drink, the ice cream is free. That doesn't come up that often. You can have Sprite, you can have root beer, you can have Powerade, you can have any flavor you want, which again doesn't usually come up with ice cream. Anthony, thank you for indulging us here on the Street Smarts today.
No, I appreciate it, Dan. And if I steal that idea and bring it to a customer, I'll give you credit, okay?
That would not be the first time I've had an idea that actually made it to market, but I will tell you that off the air. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, everyone, for listening.